I don't care about money. I care about opportunities. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, the big three.
Well, how do you manage all of this?
It's actually pretty easy. Recording is the hardest part.
How do you deal with volatility of views?
I know when a video is going to not perform that well. I'm not immune to low views.
Why do you keep making content in the first place?
I want 100,000 on YouTube from long form. 100K on shorts on YouTube is cheating. That's not being a content creator.
Ben has been a content creator since before it was cool.
Pre-Reels, way before Reels. Really difficult to grow on there.
His journey took him from streaming to short form to long form, and he even worked at Twitch for a while. But now he's probably best known for sharing tools that help creators.
I just found this website that let me create all these custom animations for free.
And a couple of months ago, he went all in. So in this conversation, you learn what makes a good video, how do you build an audience, and what opportunities come from that. But first, I wanted to know why he keeps creating in the first place.
I just like making videos, to be honest. I think a lot of creators today care more about making money than they do about making good videos. That's a shame to see. Whereas because I feel like I've been creating content for 3 or 4 years, I just genuinely enjoy making good videos. I enjoy about making good videos. That's money is just like a bonus that now allows me to do what I do full time. I have no interest in really like making lots more money. I don't care. If you ask me like if I could keep everything the same as it was today and all I had to do was just show up, make 3 TikToks a week and just keep doing that, you know, every month, and you know, I just live the life that I live now, I would be, I would say absolutely yes.
I mean, that's one thing I find really impressive about you. It's like you put out a lot of content at a really high quality, and you have multiple Instagram and TikTok accounts. You're more and more, I see more and more of you on LinkedIn, and you're venturing into long form YouTube content. Yeah. And usually the first advice is like hire an editor, right? But how do you manage all of this? Like,
do you know what? It's actually pretty easy, to be honest, because I'm full time now. I don't have any responsibilities other than making content.
Okay.
So I actually don't even. I could double my work rate quite easily. I don't work that hard, in my opinion. At the moment, I did when I had a job, and now I usually work in the mornings, and then I just do nothing in the afternoon, and then I edit in the evening usually. Most of the time, I spend just ideas. Is what I spend most of my time doing, and that you don't really have anything to show for that other than how they then potentially turn into a video at the end. But the long form YouTube stuff, that's the bigger challenge for me, just because in my head I'm creating some mental barriers around my expectation on myself to deliver higher quality content that's more polished and more edited and, you know, better prepared. And I just fucking hate doing that for long form. It's way more time consuming. You know, it's so time consuming. It's like I hate writing a full 10-minute script. I'm actually just moving away from writing a full script. I actually don't think you necessarily need to. I just think that that's not the only way to grow and have success on YouTube. I've seen a lot of videos recently that are just like, the problem is that the gurus only teach one way to grow because that's the way that they know to grow. But actually, like, there are plenty of people growing who just show up and just sit on the camera and talk. All these like lifestyle vlogger influencers that literally, some of them just sit in front of, like, I won't say Sam Sulek, but like similar to that sort of style where you're just sort of being your authentic self, as they say, and you know, you're just documenting what you're doing and very little editing and very little thought into like, ooh, we need to have, you know, I need to have a goal, and there needs to be a hurdle, and then I need to fail at that, and then there needs to be another goal, and then I need to show emotion at the end, like all of this sort of formulaic shit. The problem now is that I see that. Now I know it and I see it. I actually get switched off of videos. When it's like a YouTube educator, even some of the bigger channels, when I am like, I can almost hear in their voice that the formulaic steps of like doing it. And I actually am very switched off now when I notice somebody is doing like a formula like that to try and keep me on the video. And now I understand why people like Raw, because I never really understood why do people like. I've liked Raw for a long time. I've never really thought why do people like Raw now more, I guess, so than before. And maybe that is that it's just becoming way more obvious when somebody is scripting to a formula than just being like off the cuff, just like conversational I'm not going to script in a way that's going to try and hook you and retain you for the longest. I'm just going to sit here and fucking talk about a topic, and you can either listen or you can go and watch another video, right? And so that's kind of like the approach that I'm trying to have now of my YouTube content, is just find what works for me.
And do you have a specific reason why you're doing that on long form YouTube? Like you said, you're pretty content with your lifestyle as it is right now.
Yeah.
Is there something that draws you there, or you just want to explore a different format?
Just explore a different format. I think it just gives me an opportunity to create different, enjoy creating different type of content, and just build my brand awareness against, essentially, hopefully bring more opportunities. I don't care about money. I care about opportunities.
Hmm.
Opportunities bring money, but like, I'd rather just have a cool opportunity that didn't pay me a lot, but it was just a cool opportunity. That's what gets me excited. It doesn't particularly get me excited when someone offers me decent amount of money for an opportunity. It's more so the opportunity itself, like the opportunity to work with a cool brand, or the opportunity to go to an event, or the opportunity to do this, right? So I can show to my audience that I get to work, build my credibility here, right? That's what I care more about. That's kind of why I want to do. I want 100,000 on YouTube from long form. That's just my next. That's my next ultimate goal. When it comes to numbers, I don't like to talk about follower or sub count a lot because it's meaningless, really, in reality. But I just think that having 100,000 on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, the big three, I just think that there isn't really much better an achievement in content creation. I think that signifies somebody's very fucking successful in what they do in the niche. A million on all of them would be, even great, but that's borderline impossible for most people in most niches, because the niches aren't big enough. But 100K on all three is essentially that's really what I want. That would just make me feel proud, and that would almost make me feel like I've made it. YouTube is just the missing piece of the puzzle, and not through shorts either. 100K on shorts on YouTube is cheating. I wish they separated them. I don't want 100K from shorts. That's just, no, it doesn't count. YouTube's there to be built through long form, not shorts. People may disagree with that, but I know a lot of people will also agree with that as well.
Wow, fascinating. I really like that perspective about having 100K is like the bar to reach, not a million, because I feel like so many are like, if you don't have a million subscribers, then like, what are you even doing here? So lowering that bar, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah, it's achievable and attainable for most people in most niches. 100K on all platforms.
The other thing that you said is you care about opportunities. Do you
Yeah.
feel like one of the platforms is better at creating opportunities than the other one?
Not sure. It's hard to tell. When I get opportunities, sometimes they don't allude to where they found me. Um, TikTok certainly is a great funnel. TikTok, because I get big reach there, and I stand out more on TikTok than on Instagram. I, as I said at the start of the podcast, I'm very much aware of where I am and how my numbers and that compared to other people's. On TikTok, I stand out so much more than on Instagram, in terms of, on Instagram, there's a lot of sub niches near mine that people do very well in, editing resources, faceless editing channels, videography, photography, cinematography, all of this stuff mixed into one, which sometimes gets confused as the same stuff as me. But on TikTok, a lot of those people on Instagram don't do TikTok. I don't know why that is. I'm like, bro, you got 100K on Instagram. Why don't you post on TikTok? Oh, just don't. That's not good enough. It's not. That's just a poor excuse. Like, a lot of the Instagram guys and girls don't post on TikTok, which just means less competition for me when it comes to just people against me in my niche, and harder for me to stand out. Whereas on TikTok, everyone's views are down right now. Everyone says, but mine certainly aren't down. Really, not really that not down. I just just think that people's views goes down in cycles, and you just have to just keep creating good content, keep pivoting, and I'm trying really hard at the moment to create good content that I know does well, that isn't just what I've done before. If I don't put effort into a video, you can see it easily. The views will be shit. I'm not immune to low views. Absolutely not. Like, a lot of people talk about, like, which is an important point. Like, oh, it's always the videos that I think would do really well don't do well, and the ones that I think are rubbish do really well. I don't hear a lot of people say this, and I don't care about saying it. Is that shows me that you don't understand your content and your audience very well.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to ever say this, but I'll fucking call people out and say can't, if you can't consistently predict when your videos are going to do well and when they're not going to do well, that to me says you don't understand your audience well enough, and you don't understand the nuances of your content. Um, a good content creator, if you're a higher level content creator, knows exactly what's going to do well and exactly what's not going to do well. And yes, there is a 15-20% section where you can't predict stuff that goes mega viral, and you will do a shitty video and it'll go viral. But in the core like bulk of your content, you should easily be able to know what's going to do well and what's not going to do well.
Mm.
If you've done the reps and you've got the data points and you're reusing stuff that you've used in the past to produce videos again that same but different, there should be no issues with you delivering the results that you've delivered before.
Two things. So, A, what makes a good video for you? And B, how do you deal with the volatility of views?
Obviously, just hook, first 3 seconds, first 5 seconds, or even first 1 second, to be honest. Hook being delivered in the right way, what you say and how you say it, right pace, right tone, right music, right just video production quality if you need it or if you don't need it. I don't think hooks matter all the time. Sometimes, for some reason, people will stick around and listen for a little bit longer, even if your hook's not great. But there has to be something that's at least that's sticking you out from everybody else on the feed. You just get this little feeling as soon as they start talking that something, something's going to be good shared here. I don't know. That's the sort of shit. I don't know how that's off the cuff shit that you just is really difficult to recreate. But usually just keeping it short and short and efficient. Don't waste words. Don't waste time. Use time to separate stuff out if it helps with the flow of the video. And there are lots of things that I think make a good video. It's different for different niches, to be honest. I never like to give too much advice on, how to grow or like how to make the best video in your niche, because I hate the fact that people give advice on like there are fundamentals to growth, but at the end of the day, like I've witnessed and watched hundreds of different people go viral in different niches in different ways that completely go against all the fundamentals over and over and over and over again. Like there's just like there's I think fundamentals make up 30% of going viral on TikTok and on other platforms and growth, and then the other 70% is usually or maybe 60% is usually based off of nuances in the niche that help with growth and nuances of the individual's personality and that. And I think some people have a certain type of persona that better aligns with their content, meaning that they don't have to follow the fundamentals as much for them to listen, because they've just got a nice, like, I want to say product market fit. That's not the right. It's like persona content fit. Some people create content and their personality doesn't match. I think one of the big reasons for my success in the niche that I'm in is because my personality and the way that I speak and my delivery is a very good fit for the content I create. Like the demographic that I fit into, I think matches the content I create. People, I think, just look at me and I think they trust what I'm going to say. Just because of my delivery and I don't really have much of an accent either. It's very neutral tone, clear speaking. I don't speak too quick. Sometimes I do, but not really. Fairly easy to understand. My accent is, and I think all of these little things do contribute to, somebody who's more likely to watch your video compared to me doing an entertainment video where actually my fairly monotone, neutral voice actually might not do that well. Somebody might prefer quite an enthusiastic, loud, slightly quirky voice that's like just got a bit of emphasis to it. That would fit certain other types, or somebody who's maybe got more of a softer voice, quite like a low, like soothing voice might go well with another type of content. There's these very nuanced details that no one can really teach or explain, but I think they subconsciously influence a person's willingness to watch your video longer beyond just like the words and what you're showing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And so, how do you deal with when a video doesn't perform as well, or when views go up and down?
Usually, if a video doesn't perform that well, again, most of the time, I know when a video is going to not perform that well. You might ask yourself, well, why do you post it then? Sometimes I have to if it's paid, or sometimes I just get it wrong. Sometimes I'll just get it wrong and just post a video that I'll reflect on and think, no, that wasn't the right video to post. Sometimes videos that I think are going to do really well, they don't do well, but they usually still do above that. They still do above average. If I think a video is going to bang, it rarely ever flops. It rarely ever flops. It usually will just do above average. But I'll think it should bang, which is different than obviously above average. If it's so, like the video I posted yesterday, I thought it has potential to do above average. There's a sound effects, text to sound effects from 11 Labs. So this is from 11 Labs, and they have finally released their text to sound effect for everyone. All you do is describe the sound you want in here, or choose one of the examples to get started. I actually posted about it before, and it didn't do that well. I thought it would do that well, interestingly, because I think it's quite an intuitive new. I think it's because it's AI. People get switched off when it's AI. I've noticed that. I posted a video before, but they didn't release the tool to everybody. I've posted it again. It's not doing too well. It's not doing as well as I thought it would compared to me just posting a sound effect website. I use exactly the same hook and delivery as another video before. It's not doing too well, but that's okay. I'll just move on from that and just be like, okay, people just don't really like that sort of website, or they don't find it as valuable, and I just won't. I'll post. I give stuff usually 2 attempts to just have another go at a similar piece of content on something, and if it doesn't work again after not working the first time or getting relatively low views compared to the rest of my views, then I'll just nip in the bud. I'll just be like, okay.
So how do you find all the tools? Do you spend like hours a day like researching stuff? Do people send you
Yeah,
things?
mixture of just like scrolling through TikTok, Instagram. I have an assistant that does a lot of it for me now. Do I think that the thing that I'm showing is at its core valuable to the audience? And then do I think then there's also like something particularly interesting about this tool that is just like a bit different than others that I've shown a sound effect website, but what is it that's different about the other ones that I've shown, or what makes this website stand out? Because the problem is a lot of websites don't stand out, and I don't share them. I
Mm-hmm.
get honestly come across tools and websites aimed at creators that are just like, I've seen about 100 tools like this. I'm like, what's your USP? I'm like, you don't have a USP. Like, straight up facts, you don't have a USP. If you don't have a USP and you're not a market leader, I'm not going to share you. I'm not going to make a video about it. That video has to have a USP. I don't care what that is, as long as it's just, oh, that's interesting. Like, that's a bit different than the other tools that are in the same kind of category or subcategory. There's a lot of shit getting pushed to market at the moment. I think that's because a lot of people are getting investment for like AI tools. And I think that bubble is going to, as I said earlier, the bubble is going to burst soon because I see too many tools not solving new problems. They're solving problems that are already being solved by the bigger tools that do everything better, as cheaper, more on offer, like CapCut, your Veeds, your Opus, Premiere, all of these like top editing tools. Like, they already do all of the stuff that these little ones do. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to build these tools.
So one last topic is brand deals, right? Like you said, you have a lot of good opportunities and you have
Mm.
your ideal life almost. How do you choose brand deals?
It's all just based off supply and demand. There's a lot of demand to go on my page, and I can only supply probably 2 or 3 videos a month. I don't like to do more than 2 or 3 ads a month because I like creating organic content, right? I don't want my page to be full of ads, So I'll only like open up probably 2 to 3 slots, usually 2, and then I'll have 1 spare if something comes in that's a massive brand and they want it done next week, and I go, yeah, okay, we'll make it work. Like, so I try to just plan 2. So like, I'll probably get around 50, anywhere from 50 to 80 inbounds a month. So like, if I'm having to obviously manage that demand, I need to have I purely raise my prices in order to just mean that most of the demand can't afford me, and only a small part of the demand can. So then I'm maximizing my revenue for the 2 or 3 ad slots uh, that I'm able to provide to people. Obviously, it's not always about maximizing revenue. It might just be about maximizing my exposure with a brand. I've done a few deals recently with some bigger brands that like everybody knows that they wasn't maybe offering as much as I would have liked for what I usually charge and the deliverables and stuff. But I'm usually happy to, make it work for the bigger brands to hopefully build a longer term relationship. In a perfect world, every deal I do is with a brand that everybody knows,
Mm.
and they pay me what I want, because then I get the double. I get paid the amount that I want, and I get the brand exposure. That's kind of how I manage it. I've been learning a lot over time. It's challenging doing it. I have an agency that helps negotiate and stuff, but for a number of months I was doing it myself, and um, I look back and just think like there are so many creators going through that same period. It's hard. It's very hard
Hmm.
managing. You have to learn how to negotiate, how much to like value yourself at. I used to charge £1,000 and then 2,000 and then 2,500 and then 3,000. And then one day I was like, "Do you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go for 5,000." And then they turned around and said yes. And I was like, "Oh, wow." They didn't even bat an eyelid at 5,000. And I was like, "Well, let's just charge everybody for 5,000 then." And then more people said yes. And then I was like, "Okay, a lot of them say no." It's like, no, I don't care if they say no. It doesn't bring, it's cash. I don't care. I don't need the money. I'd rather just, be able to create organic video. The brand deals cause me stress, right? They're not that there's work, right? It's actual. That's the work, right? That's what I describe as work. And work is not fun, because that's when I'm working for somebody else.
Hmm.
There's pressure. I need to deliver. Video needs to perform. There's expectation. There's timelines and all that shit. There's nothing I enjoy about that. Right? The only thing I enjoy is getting paid after it. So I try and keep those to a minimum, or like just a nice balance for myself that I've found works for me in terms of like how many I do, and who I work with and how much for.
So, in that context of work and just creating videos, what does success actually mean to you? Or what does it look like to you?
Or I don't know. I actually don't know. Being happy, to be honest, in my opinion, being happy and content with what you're doing, with a little bit of drive to progress further, just having a little bit of fire in you. To be honest, that like you're still enjoying what you're doing enough to still want to push more, but at the same time also not having to work. I value my time over everything else. Like time is more important than everything. I don't want to work myself into a position where I make more money but have less time. I guess there's this idea of having financial freedom and this, that, and the other, and being set up for life. I get that, and that's obviously, of course, potentially what maybe I would define as a success, where I just feel like I never have to work again. But at the same time, I like the pace that I'm going at right now. I'm very happy. I don't know what ultimate success. Ultimate success is to just, you just said, just be working on what I'm working on 90% of the time, and also having lots of time to basically do whatever I want. Life's long. I'm happy to just take it slow and easy, and just, maybe social media won't be around forever. Maybe my accounts won't be around forever, and that's the risk of moving slow. But I'll fucking work that out when that day comes, when all my accounts get banned, and then I got to figure something out and work quick. Yeah, I'll figure that out then. But in my opinion, working slow is absolutely fine. 'Cause that's just the way that I look at it. A lot of pressures from external people saying to me that I need to do this. I need to have a product. You need to have a course. You need to do this. Where's this? Why don't you have an offering of this? Why is this? I don't fucking know, because maybe I don't want to, maybe I just want to do what I'm doing at the moment because I'm happy. You're all happy making 10 times the amount as me, but you're working 40, 50 hours a week. I'm chilling over here working 15 hours, making a tenth of the money, but I don't need the money that you've got. Like, so, or
Oh
like,
man, I love this so much.
yeah, I just think there's a lot of social media advice and content out there that makes you think that you need to be following this certain model or path to like. But like, I actually question how many of these people are actually truly happy. Like, how many of them are actually enjoying their life? How many of them have friends that they go and see regularly? Like, How many of them can just like take a couple of days off and do nothing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't reckon a lot of them can do that. So I'd rather try and just build my life into something that is just, you know, something that I don't regret.
So if you think about this person who like has been watching you and who maybe wants to make their own videos but hasn't quite taken the first step, what would you tell them?
Work on ideas, get down the pillars and the sub pillars of your content niche. Go and work out like the core categories behind all of the content that gets created within your niche. If you don't even know what they are, you could use ChatGPT. You could just find a content creator that is someone that you look up to, go through all their videos and think, what category does this come under? What are they talking about? What are they doing? Right. And then you'll start building out all of these subcategories or pillars. And once you do that, you can then start coming up with all of these different ideas under each of these subcategories. You can have different formats, different ways of doing different videos. Go on creators in your niche and say, how do they do this video? Okay, this is the idea. This is how they create a video on it. This is like the format: talking head, lifestyle, outside. You know, they've got props. Like, there's lots of editing. There's not much editing. It's straight raw. You know, all these different formats, all these different ideas. You think about how you turn these ideas into different formats. You just start writing all of this shit down, and then you then just start making the videos themselves. If you can come up, like I said before, if you can come up with like lots of ideas and lots of different formats in terms of like how you turn those ideas into video formats, then you solve most of the problems that you'll have inside of your head. The only other then problem is just basically just doing the thing, which is just recording yourself and, you know, editing the video. Usually recording is the hardest part. Once you've got the recording done, editing's not too difficult. You know, you just got to fucking get on with that. But that's what most people just don't do. I think they jump in head first without real any plan, and then soon they're like, a couple of days they're like, oh fuck, what do I create videos on? Oh, I don't know. But build a system that just constantly flows ideas into, then the mind is always satisfied that you've got something good to create next. Because most people don't think what they're going to create next is good, so they don't create it.
Mm, I think that's a key sentence there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share, that you want to talk about?
Most creators just need to keep going. Just keep going. It's just like give yourself a 10, just tell you the horizon is 10 years away, really. Like, that's what I say. 5 to 10 years. Most creators want success in 6 months. They want it in a year, but in reality, most don't get it for 2 or 3 years. But the reason why, and most never even get it after 2 or 3 years, because they give up before 2 or 3 years. Because, you know, life gets in the way, and, you know, it becomes hard and you just become demotivated. But ultimately, if you are passionate about like creating videos and creating content, and you're happy to pivot along the way, and, you know, realize that, you know, it's not just going to be that you start doing this and you finish doing like that in 2 or 3 years time, and that's when you're successful. But and it's just the same straight path for the whole way. It's just not. It's usually fucking like that. You'll feel like you go backwards. You'll feel like when you change niches that you're just starting again, but in reality, you're just transferring your skills that you've learned from other niches into a new niche. And it should mean that you're not starting again, usually starting, you know, a little bit further ahead than everybody else. And it might take you 5 years before you find the thing, but if you give up before then, you'll never find the thing. And if you're if you know, if you just want to work a normal corporate job and just, you know, feel unfulfilled in life, then that's fine. But, you know, life's fucking long. So if you're not willing to do something for more than 5 years to potentially reach a goal or achieve something or reach a position that, you know, will fulfill you for the rest of your life, then I think you need to like have a you know, hard long think on your mindset, to be honest. Because, you know, you think the next 2 years are so long, and in reality, when you're 20 years old, you've got another 60 years of life. So in reality, 5 years is absolutely fuck all. So I set myself a goal. Well, you know, if I could at least try and really work hard on something that I want to like pursue for 5 or 10 years, and like if I'll be successful, there's just no doubt about it. Like, there's no way that if I'm consistent on something for 5 years, there's no way that I won't be successful. Like, there's no way anybody won't be successful. It's just people just can't be consistent at something for 5 years. They find it really difficult to, because 5 years apparently is a long time. But, you know, like if you think about, well, if I can get to the point where it's going to mean that I can do whatever I want to do or work on the thing that's my pure passion, beyond that, then I've got another 40, 50 years of being able to just live life exactly how I want to. Like, to me, that's worth it.
Uh, well, Ben, thanks so much for
Thank you,
sharing
man.
all your insights.
Hopefully it was
Uh,
useful.
Absolutely. where can people find you? What's the best way for people to stay in your orbit?
Just my name, Ben Kaluza, just on everything. Just yeah, BenKluza. Sure it'll be linked below. Mainly active on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as well. Now, sometimes I post on Twitter and on LinkedIn occasionally.
If you are new here, there's an extended version of this conversation on the audio only podcast feed. And if you want to go a level deeper, sign up to the Orbit newsletter, a weekly transmission full of curated content for creators. I see you in our orbit.